everyone. Welcome back. It's JPNN here for May the 11th. Holy shit, this year is almost halfway done. Insanity. We had a lot of earnings reports. We got some fun stuff, FIFA and EA, and it's going to be an interesting JPNN. Let's go ahead and get to it. Let us begin with Nintendo, as they were talking about their earnings for the fiscal year ending in March 31st, 2022. Just some random numbers they threw out. Hardware sales have reached 107.65 million units worldwide, and software sales at 822 million units. Some interesting numbers out of those software sales. Kirby sold 2.1 million units in 2 weeks. That's a lot. Pokemon sitting at around just shy of 13 million total units sold. We still got Bayonetta 3 coming out sometime this year, as well as Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. So that will obviously sell very well. That Skyward Sword HD release sold 3.91 million. It's wild to see how much Switch games still sell rather than, thinking about how that stuff really translates to Twitch, because a lot of Nintendo stuff doesn't get that much, Twitch love, but looks like it doesn't matter. During the investors Q&A, the president, Shuntaro Furukawa, when asked what his thoughts were on transitioning to its next hardware platform by investors, said that the company planned to alleviate the risk of resetting its 100 million plus user base by building, quote, long-term relationships with its users, partly via Nintendo accounts and by using its IP outside of gaming. Longer quote says, quote, we have already announced a portion of our software roadmap releasing up till next spring. Unlike the past, we continue to have a large variety of games scheduled to be released even beyond 5 years of release. That is because Nintendo Switch has had such a smooth launch, allowing us to focus all of our development resources on a single platform. However, the question of whether we will be able to just as smoothly transition from the Nintendo Switch to the next generation of hardware is a major concern for us. To help alleviate this risk, we're focused on building long-term relationships with our customers. They just don't want a repeat of what happened with the Wii U. I get it. Step number 1, don't call it the Switch U. One of the biggest issues with the Wii U was the fucking name, because there was the Wii and then there was the Wii U. People still have a hard time when it comes to even like reselling that stuff today, understanding what's happening. I'm sure there's some GameStop that screws over moms who have no idea what video games are. Says, oh yeah, that's the Wii U. Oh, was that the really popular console before the Switch? Yep. Don't call it the Switch U. The Switch 2. Oh, novel. No, don't call it the Switcheroo, chat. No. Stop it. Sony's also out there talking about their financial results for the year. The PlayStation 5 has shipped 19.3 million units worldwide to date. They put out a bunch of other stats you can find over at Sony.com for that press release. They did have some interesting things to say, though, such as Sony expects to ship 18 million PS5 units in the fiscal year that started on April 1st, 2022 and ends on March 31st, 2023. With the statement being, quote, a number based on our current visibility into parts procurement. So another 18 million PS5s for scalpers out there to buy. We'll see. Another interesting stat is that 71% of software sales were full game software digital downloads, which is down from 8% in the previous year. COVID kind of inflated a lot of stats, I think, within the gaming world. Capcom doing another year of record high profits driven by its digital contents business. They sold 32.6 million units across all of their titles. Resident Evil crossed the 6 million threshold. Monster Stories 2, Monster Hunter Stories 2 sold 1.5 million units. Monster Hunter Rise sold an additional 4.1 this year. Resident Evil 7 up to 1.8, or sold an additional 1.8 rather. And the big news out of this earnings call was that it is, quote, planning to release multiple major new titles by the end of next fiscal year, March 2023. We'll see what those actually are, maybe a little bit later. EA doing a lot of earnings reports. It's the end of the fiscal year, so that's why. EA revealed that they will be releasing 4 games that, quote, have not been publicly disclosed. As per the report, those games were major IPs, they were partnered titles, there was a remake, and there was a sports title. They also revealed that 71% of EA's revenue came from live service games. That makes a lot of sense that EA would do well there. We're going to be covering a little bit about EA because they've been in the news pretty recently for a bunch of stuff. First off, they've partnered with Middle-earth Enterprises, which is a division of the Saul Zaentz company, on the development of a new free-to-play mobile game called The Lord of the Rings: Heroes of Middle-earth. It's a collectible role-playing game and will feature immersive storytelling. No, it won't. Turn-based combat. Yep. Deep collection systems. Oh, they're going to be deep. I promise you. And a wide roster of characters from across the vast universe of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Players will battle through iconic stories from the world of Tolkien and take up the fight against the great evils of Middle-earth. The game will be the newest addition to EA's expanding mobile portfolio as the company continues delivering exceptional experiences and top live services game, reaching more players on more platforms around the world. We've got 2 quotes. One from Malachi Boyle. If that guy's not a villain somewhere, he should be, with a name like Malachi Boyle. He's the vice president of mobile RPG for Electronic Arts. What did old Malachi have to say? He said, "We are incredibly excited to partner with the Saul Zaentz company and Middle-earth Enterprises on the next generation of mobile role-playing games. The team is filled with fans of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and each day they bring their tremendous passion and talents together to deliver an authentic experience for the players. Combination of high-fidelity graphics, cinematic animations, and stylized art immerses players in the fantasy of Middle-earth, where they'll go head-to-head with their favorite characters." Thanks, Mr. Boyle. Who names themselves Malachi? Well, I guess no one names themselves, but interesting name. This next one is a doozy. It really is. It really is. As one partnership begins over at EA, another one is ending. That's right. EA and FIFA have officially ended their partnership. The annual release of FIFA over at EA will now be called EA Sports FC. They put out a bunch of different press releases around this. EA said next year, EA Sports FC will become the future of football from EA Sports. Everything you love about our games, they're saying soccer, really. Everything you love about our games will be in EA Sports FC. The same great experiences, modes, league, tournaments, clubs, and athletes will be there. Ultimate Team, Career Mode, Pro Clubs, and Volta Football will all be there. The new independent platform will bring a fresh opportunity to innovate, create, and evolve. This is much more than just a change of symbol. As EA Sports, we're committed to ensuring EA Sports FC is a symbol of change. EA Sports FC will allow us they're trying to get the name in there as much as possible, will allow us to realize this future and much more, but not before we deliver our most expansive game ever with our current naming rights partner FIFA for one more year. We are committed to ensuring the next FIFA is our best ever, with more features, game modes, World Cup content, clubs, leagues, competitions, and players than any FIFA title before. We'll be happy to share more info on EA Sports FC in the summer of 2023. And here's where it gets fun. FIFA also released a statement from FIFA president Gianni Infantino. And that's just funny that his last name is Infantino. He came out and said, among other things, I do recommend reading the full statement if you're wanting to have a little fun. Quote, I can assure you that the only authentic, real game that has the FIFA name will be the best one available for gamers and football fans. The FIFA name is the only global original title. FIFA 23, FIFA 24, FIFA 25, and FIFA 26, and so on. The constant is the FIFA name, and it will remain forever and remain, and he put this in all caps, the best. Oh, man. According to FIFA, discussions are currently ongoing with quote leading game publishers, media companies, and investors in regard to the development of a new FIFA simulation game for 2024, which would directly compete with EA Sports FC. Find more information over at videogameschronicle.com or ea.com/news if you are at all interested in that. Lot of shade. The reason, by the way, if you're wondering why all of this occurred, the story, at least, is that a couple months ago, FIFA was demanding $1 billion, that's a billion with a B, for licensing rights of the name, I think, over the course of 4 years. So $250 million just to license the name FIFA on their game. So EA said, yeah, fuck that. We're just going to not do that and put out our game. Good luck. And they backed out. So that's insane. That's an insane amount of money for sure. Reuters reported that Riot Games, that's a fun statement to say, has filed a new lawsuit against Moonton Technology, alleging that the Chinese developer has repeatedly copied League of Legends Wild Rift with its own mobile game called Mobile Legends Bang Bang. In the suit filed on Monday at the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California, Riot said that, quote, Moonton's strategy is blatant copying. Riot is seeking, quote, to stop Moonton from continuing its deliberate and sustained campaign to free ride on Riot's highly valuable rights in the mobile game video game League of Legends Wild Rift. Over the years, as Riot's updated its own game, Moonton would copy it. When Riot updated the game's promotional materials, Moonton copied them. And when Riot released a new trailer, Moonton copied it. This is a critical issue for Riot, the most recent lawsuit reads. This is not the first time they have sued Moonton. They sued him back in 2017, and the case was dismissed later that year as the court said it would be, quote, better heard, end quote, in China, as Riot Games is owned by Chinese giant Tencent, and Moonton is a Shanghai-based company as part of TikTok's parent company, ByteDance. So we'll see what happens there. We've also got some more legal stuff. Judge John C. Coffenauer ruled that Valve must face antitrust litigation over claims that, quote, most favored nation, end quote, policies for its Steam distribution platform have driven up video game prices across the industry. Judge John let part of the case move forward in the U.S. District Court, saying it's plausible that Valve exploits its market dominance to threaten and retaliate against developers that sell games for less through other retailers or platforms. The company, quote, allegedly enforces this regime through a combination of written and unwritten rules, imposing its own conditions on how even non-Steam enabled games are sold and priced. These allegations are sufficient to plausibly allege unlawful conduct. Judge John also rejected the claims that the Steam store and gaming platform operate separately. Kind of weird. Of course, in April of last year, Wolfire filed a lawsuit against Valve, arguing that it uses its dominant position on the PC market to exploit publishers and consumers, end quote. The developer's CEO, David Rawson, said that most developers have little or no choice but to sell on Steam as they do, and do as they're told by Valve. Valve filed for dismissal of the antitrust suit in July of 2021, and it was dismissed in November by the same judge in November of last year. We'll see what happens with that story. The old Raven Software employees are now reporting that Activision Blizzard has continued its stance against unionization as the deadline for the studio's crucial vote approaches. Speaking to the Washington Post, the current members of the staff say that the management at the Call of Duty publisher have been holding meetings and issuing messages regarding the election. Last month, Raven leadership reportedly told staff that unionization would impact game development and affect potential benefits and promotions for members of the team. Employees also say they received emails featuring graphics that simply read, quote, "Please vote no." Several Raven employees told the Post that they found management's anti-union messaging to be disappointing and ineffective, as they still voted yes. Activision Blizzard said in a company statement that it would review legal options. Quote, "While we respect the NLRB process, we are disappointed that a decision that could significantly impact the future of our entire studio will be made by fewer than 10% of our employees." Activision Blizzard spokesperson Rich George wrote that in an April 22nd statement to the Post. "We believe in a direct relationship with team members as the best path to achieving individual and company goals." Just let them, what are you doing? Just let them do it. Jesus. And the latest annual report, by the way, Activision Call of Duty Mobile, said that Call of Duty Mobile had a record year in 2021, with consumer spending, quote, well above, end quote, $1 billion, and has been downloaded over 650 million times. The number of people experiencing Call of Duty on mobile each month almost matched those playing on console and PC in 2021, Activision said in the report. They recently announced that it's working on a mobile version of the free-to-play battle royale game Call of Duty Warzone, which of course released in March 2020 and has topped 100 million players in 13 months. More information on all of that over at videogameschronicle.com/news. Let's talk a little bit more about games-focused stuff, and get out of the industry. According to Ubisoft's earning report today, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Avatar Frontier of Pandora, and Skull and Bones are all set to release within the next fiscal year, aka by next March 31st, 2023. If that's all they have to offer, I don't know. Really, that Avatar game could crash and burn. Mario and Rabbids could be good though. We'll see. According to Bandai Namco's newest earnings release, Elden Ring has exceeded 13.4 million units shipped as of March 31st worldwide. Of course, DLC is coming out for that, so we'll see whenever that gets announced. I would imagine maybe Summer Game Fest. Maybe Jeff has gotten another scoop on the old Elden Ring. I'd be about it. I'd love some DLC for that. In an interview with IGN Japan, Ghostwire Tokyo director Kenji Kimura confirmed that he's on board to not just make a sequel, but also DLC for the first game. Translated by an app, he comes out and says, quote, "I think that's when things calm down a bit more. When I've cooled down a bit more, I'll have ideas for DLCs and sequels, and I'll want to make them. Nothing has been decided yet, so I can't tell you anything more than that." I wonder if Bethesda just gives them free reign for that. The game ended on a cool note. The rest of it, though, kind of middling. Yesterday, Gotham Knights showed some footage for the upcoming title later this year. But they kind of slid this under the radar. At least I didn't see that much people talking about it. They're going to be skipping last gen consoles in favor of the current gen. This was revealed yesterday in the game's latest gameplay trailer. The game's now scheduled for October 25th, only on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, as well as PC. They did put up a post on the website's FAQ for why they're skipping the PS4 and Xbox One consoles, and said, quote, "To provide players with the best possible gameplay experience, the game will release on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. It will not be available for PlayStation 4 or Xbox One consoles." Get rid of those things. Get them out of there. Although PlayStation 5 still aren't really available, so yeah, I think we're starting to see it though. I think the writing's on the wall. Developers want to stop, making games for those PS4 and Xbox One consoles. It's old. They're old. What are we in year? Is this year 2 or 3 of the new gen? Has it really been 3 years? 1.5? I don't know. COVID really fucks with me. It really just, what a weird thing. According to an update on the Stardew Valley website, the farming sim has sold more than 20 million copies worldwide as of March 2022, with 13 million of those on PC alone. Congratulations. That's a shit ton. Bandai Namco has announced the sudden closure of Tales of Luminara. This was, of course, the mobile game. It will cease to exist simultaneously worldwide on July 19th in the U.S. time zones. This closure will also affect the game's storytelling, as there will be no more new character episodes after the final episode set to come out with version 1.6.0 update in late May. Game lasted about 8 months, according to my editor. I never played it. I never checked it out. AI The Somnium Files will have a physical and digital release, but it's been delayed to July 8th in Europe. On their website, Spike Chunsoft said, quote, "Due to unforeseen manufacturing delays and global shipping slowdowns, Spike Chunsoft Inc. and Numbskull Games unfortunately must delay the European and Oceania release of the title across all platforms. To maintain parity, the digital releases for these regions will be delayed to July 8th as well." Kind of sucks. I figure they would keep the digital release digital. Why not? Why not? Guilty Gear Strive is in the news as they are approaching the 1-year anniversary live stream. The announcement has been scheduled for May 25th at 8 p.m. JST or 4 a.m. Pacific time. Translated using Google, they said, quote, "In the program, there are plenty of content such as special talks and exhibition matches on the theme of past and future of Guilty Gear Strive by the development team, as well as the latest information of this work for Season 2. I'm sure we'll be covering that later this month. Apex Legends Mobile will be launching on May 17th, according to their Twitter account over at twitter.com/playapex. There's been another Dead Space remake developer live stream that has been scheduled for May 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific. The tweet from twitter.com/deadspace says, quote, "Note, this live stream may contain content not suitable for all audiences." Hope it's better than their last one. Although their last one wasn't really bad. They showed some cool stuff, I suppose. We'll probably check that out on JPNN with whatever they're showing. IGN has announced the Summer of Gaming. They tweeted over at twitter.com/IGN, "IGN's Summer of Gaming is coming soon. Expect big reveals, deep dives, and exclusive looks at upcoming games, all starting in just a few weeks. Stay tuned for more." The quote E3 is almost here, chat, of 2022. I think we've got that. We've got Xbox, and we've got the Summer Game Fest so far. It's been announced. So We'll see if there's anything else coming out. The top sellers, since we didn't do a JPNN on Monday for last week on Steam, were, of course, Steam Deck at number 1, Elden Ring at number 2 still, Rogue Legacy coming in at number 3, Monster Hunter Rise coming in at number 4, and the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe rounding out the list at number 5. We've got 3 little random tidbits here. This past Friday, on May the 6th, Xbox users were left unable to purchase or launch games for 12 hours after Microsoft servers experienced a major outage. On the same day, Xbox's support team first confirmed that its servers were experiencing a major outage after users complained that they were unable to purchase or launch games or start cloud gaming sessions. On Saturday, the support team claimed it had resolved the issues, only for it to state several hours later that the issue had returned. In total, the support team claimed to have fixed the problem twice this weekend, only for it to seemingly return later. In an update, Microsoft said it expects to fully resolve recent Xbox server outages with a new update, quote, in the coming days. According to the editor, this problem made users bring out and question Xbox's online DRM policy. As of Monday, this problem still exists. Gene Park, who is a Washington Post reporter, I believe, said that he faced the same issue. Quote, echoing everyone, the DRM problem is the biggest issue I have with Xbox. It's crazy how I can't play games I bought and own because they can't get their shit together. Imagine not being able to read a book because the publisher's house in England is on fire. Yeah, I mean, it happens when, granted, it doesn't happen at all, really. I can't actually think of the last time it occurred with Steam, but every once in a while that shit will happen with Steam too. Although they have an offline mode, so they might have a fix for that already. Anywho, Yoshi P, the Final Fantasy XVI director, as well as Final Fantasy XIV director, has shared his thoughts on the metaverse. In an interview with Weekly Bunchin, Yoshida discussed the success of the popular MMORPG. In response to the comments comparing Final Fantasy XIV to the metaverse, Yoshida revealed that he did not see the metaverse as similar to Final Fantasy XIV. Furthermore, Yoshida stated that he did not see the metaverse as a form of entertainment in itself. Yoshida said, quote, to me, I see the metaverse as a system that replaces reality with a virtual world. So I don't think the metaverse has anything in common with entertainment. In the metaverse, I'm thinking of people will be able to use an avatar in virtual reality and take a stroll in Shinjuku or do shopping, just like in real life. Though it might be fun, there's no entertainment there. What's so interesting about the systems of our real world is how I feel. Not a bad take. I kind of agree with that. We didn't cover it in the news in terms of it being in the script, but right now in the Final Fantasy XIV world, a lot of drama around third-party apps. This all comes up from the recent release of the Ultimate, as people have started to clear that. I think the top 3, the first 3, rather, confirmed kills in all their videos are using third-party apps like timers and things like that to help them defeat the boss. They've gone and banned a lot of these people. There's a live ban that happened on Twitch of someone that was using third-party tools. It's real crazy. It's real crazy to see all that stuff. I also, although we're not really sure of the reason, because I don't think it's been explicitly stated by the person that was banned. The person was also banned on Twitch. We don't know if that was because of DMCA stuff from the Dragon Song music, or if it was because of the Final Fantasy XIV company, Square, filing a complaint for breaking the toss and using the third-party apps. Not sure. A lot of drama, though. Still ongoing. We'll see if we can cover some more of that on Friday. Basically, if you stream Final Fantasy 14, don't show any of that shit. Because the only people that are getting banned are people that show that shit. That's it. That's really all it comes down to. Final story of the day before we check JPedia for this week's game releases. There are none. According to VentureBeat, as part of Microsoft's Xbox Everywhere initiative, Microsoft is planning to expand access through your family room television, according to people familiar with the plans. In the next 12 months, Microsoft plans to release an Xbox Cloud gaming streaming device. This will likely look like an Amazon Fire Stick, or perhaps a small Roku-like puck. And like Roku, the Xbox streaming device will enable you to access movie and TV services in addition to a library of games through the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. They're currently working closely with its partners at Samsung to develop an Xbox game streaming app for the company's televisions. That too should debut within the next 12 months. I like that. I think that's pretty sick. I think that would be really cool if you just have a Samsung TV and you can stream Xbox games into the app. Pretty interesting. Let's load up JPedia. We'll see and list off the games that are releasing this game or this week, but there's really not that many. There's not that many. We have Songs of Conquest that debuted into early access yesterday. Salt and Sacrifice, which is the sequel to... is that really called Salt and Sacrifice? It's basically Salt and Sacrifice 2. That's also, I believe, in early access on PC. Ayuden Chronicle Rising is out. That's a Game Pass game. We Were Here Forever has come out. Brigandine, The Legend of Runersia. The Call of Duty Warzone X Godzilla vs. Kong Operation Monarch crossover event is live. Tomorrow, there's the Ninja Jaja Maru, The Great Yokai Battle plus Hell. That's coming out. And then on Friday, Evil Dead the game launches, as well as the new Path of Exile 3.18 expansion. If you missed that, we covered it on a separate video, the Sentinel update. You can find my first reacts and thoughts on all of that. We'll cover next week's games next week. As always, don't forget to join us tomorrow on Trailer Time. We'll cover the Nintendo Indie Direct game trailers that were released earlier today, as well as whatever else is out there in the wide world of video game trailers. That's going to do it for JPNN. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment, drop a subscription, hit the like button, or do none of those. It's up to you. I can't control you, okay? You got to make these decisions. You have to do this action. For now, though, we'll see you on Friday. We're out of here. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.